that I was not a fellow cult member, a Christian, displeased him greatly. A fella came over in the deadly heat here in the Walmart parking lot. Not deadly for him, I suspect, in his air-conditioned car. But we have no air conditioning. Anyway, he was curious about the vehicle, but drawn to the words on the side and asked a question or two. Let's see. Do you love Jesus? And I expressed honestly, which meant that I paused and said, I love his teachings and example. Well, that just set off all sorts of alarm bells for this fella. And he went into interrogation mode. And I think in an interrogation, you attempt to pressure someone to profess what you want them to profess, to declare what you want them to declare. He wasn't trying to be hostile. He wasn't thinking of himself as being hostile, but he was triggered and he went right into interrogation mode. And for 3 or 4 minutes, I let him persist and discover that through my answers, I was not there to be interrogated. I was not there to be pressured. I didn't say any of those things, but my answers were clearly not bending to what he wanted to hear. And then he half courteously bid his goodbyes and walked away. It's the first encounter like that I've had these last 33 states. And I'm glad of it. It was upsetting. And I'm sharing this log partly to understand why, to process for myself why I'm upset. Why it was upsetting. And I think the core of that is that there was no humanity evidenced in this person. Jesus said, those who are well do not need a physician, but those who are sick. And it seems to me, not that that was a trick statement, but it's tricky, because who was so well that they didn't need Jesus as a physician? I don't think there's been anyone in history. No credit to Jesus, no discredit to anyone else. Well, this fella, boy, it was funny, toward the end, when he saw Jesianity, he said, so you're your own God, when it was clear that my views are not those of he said, billion Christians. I said, no, they're not. So you're your own God. And that just kind of floored me. That was so absurd. I really didn't have anything to say. That fellow was his own God. God is the one that knows the absolute truth. And that fella is certain he knows the absolute truth. Well, that's God. Jesus said of himself, I am meek and lowly of heart. Jesus said, those who are humble like this little child are greatest in the kingdom of heaven. There was no humility in this fella. He was a cult member, a member of the Christian cult. And that's what it is. What is a cult member? I don't know the accepted definition, but I'm comfortable to say they are people that value a sense of certainty above everything else. Certainly above the truth, certainly above their own humanity. They sacrifice their own humanity as the price of having absolute certainty, the certainty that comes from multiple people that all declare the same thing. Doesn't matter if it is based on anything other than their desire to be part of a group all saying the same thing. Very interesting, very instructive. I'm surprised this is the first. I don't expect it will be the last. And it's a good learning opportunity for me. And I'm not displeased with having been upset by the encounter. To be in the presence of inhumanity is upsetting to the soul. It's so disturbing. It's so ugly.